Did you know? The design of the PlayStation 2 is extremely similar to an unreleased Atari personal computer called the Falcon 030 Microbox. This was the last PC designed by Atari before they refocused their efforts on the Jaguar gaming console, which went on to be crushed in the market by the original PlayStation. There are references to the Falcon 030 Microbox in the design patent for the PlayStation 2, which was filed in December 1999, 6 months before the PS2 was launched on March 4, 2000. The outer design of the PlayStation 2 was created by the chief art director of Sony's creative center, Taiyu Goto. Goto explained to CNN that his vision was to give the PlayStation 2 a style that would be popular all over the world, so he chose a blue logo on a black surface to represent the blueness of the Earth surrounded by the blackness of outer space. At this time, Sony had many lofty goals for the PlayStation 2. In early press statements, CEO of Sony's gaming subsidiary, Ken Kutaragi, revealed that the PlayStation 2 could function as a home server. He also stated the console would use a new distribution system for music and movies, and that Sony was even preparing an internet music streaming service for the console. Sony never ended up providing streaming software for the PlayStation 2, so it wasn't until the release of the PlayStation 3 that the world could stream media on a PlayStation system, except for Brazil. Netflix released a disc for the PlayStation 2 in the Brazilian market only, for customers to stream movies and TV shows. Another PlayStation 2 feature that never really panned out was the upgradable firmware. Sony had planned to distribute official update discs that installed files on a memory card. This update system was only used once officially, and it was seemingly abandoned after that. It is possibly because the update wasn't permanent, as the PlayStation 2 lacked internal memory. So when the memory card was removed, the system reverted back to its previous version. The update feature would go on to be used as an exploit by hackers to run homebrew software and ROM files. However, it turned out to be much easier to just use the PlayStation 2 as a home computer. Sony sold an official Linux installation kit that included the operating system, a 40GB hard drive, an Ethernet adapter, and a mouse and keyboard. Of all the forward-thinking features on the PlayStation 2, one of the most surprising is the fact that it was actually capable of playing games in HD. 4 PlayStation 2 titles were released with support for 1080i high definition through use of component cables. The PlayStation 2's lifespan, however, wasn't without its own series of setbacks. Early on, many PlayStation 2 owners were subjected to numerous game-breaking disc read error messages. The worst of these cases resulted in damaged DVDs and CDs. This was actually the case of a class action lawsuit which Sony settled by giving those who qualified one free game and $25 off repair costs. Another hardware mishap occurred in 2002 when demand for PlayStation 2 memory cards completely dominated the supply, resulting in what fans dubbed the Great Memory Card Famine. This was partly due to Sony's failure to renew licenses with third-party memory card manufacturers like Mad Catz and their inability to meet market demand on their own. Another public relations disaster happened when the PlayStation 2 became the repeated target of war-related media coverage. Early on, the PlayStation 2 was thought to be so powerful for a consumer-grade device that fears emerged it could be used in a terrorist plot. In Japan, the PlayStation 2 was the first game console to face export controls under the Foreign Exchange and Foreign Trade Control Law. According to the law, products that could be used for military purposes cannot be exported out of the country without a special permit. The PlayStation 2 was placed under this category because it was a powerful computer that could theoretically be repurposed in any way, including military. Sony was granted permission to export the consoles to any region of the world except Iran, Iraq, Libya, and North Korea. Fears arose again in the United States when media reports spread that then Iraqi President Saddam Hussein was stockpiling 4,000 PlayStation 2 systems to be weaponized. These reports were quickly brushed aside though, because they turned out to be entirely false. An investigation from a UK intelligence agency found these claims to be baseless. One source close to a UK government intelligence said, "This is complete cobblers. For a start, the suggestion that there's a shortage of standard PC hardware in Iraq is silly. PCs are commodities like cars and washing machines, and they can get as many P3 and P4 PCs as they like, sanctions or no sanctions. Moreover, that kind of sophisticated capability requires unique software that would have taken years to develop after the PlayStation 2 debuted." Some of the first series of advertisements for the PlayStation 2 are remembered for being very strange. They had bizarre, trippy visuals and didn't highlight any of the system's features. This is because Sony commissioned surrealist film director David Lynch to create the commercials. They were pitched with the idea that the PlayStation 2 is a gateway to another world called The Third Place, where experiences are beyond expectation. Sony of Europe commissioned David Lynch because they felt he was the only one who could communicate this abstract idea. The PlayStation 2 firmware contains a few interesting secrets. The white towers seen in the PlayStation PlayStation 2 startup animation are representations of save data from the user's memory card. They're rendered on the screen in real time according to the number of save files and the size of each file. Also, the strange spinning orbs on the main menu are actually a clock. This is evident by the system configuration menu, in which the orbs and 12 glass-like pillars can be seen, with one lit up according to the time. One of the most creative uses of the PlayStation 2's internal clock was in Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. When facing the boss character, The End, if the player saves the game in the middle of the battle and waits over a week before playing again, The End will have died of old age. Of course, it's also possible to change the system's date a week ahead to get the same result. Sony claims that over 10,000 games are available for the system, and support for the PlayStation 2 extended throughout the duration of the PlayStation 3's life cycle. In fact, the PS4 launched in 2013, the exact same year the last two PlayStation 2 games ever were released, FIFA 14 and Pro Evo Soccer 2014. Currently, the PlayStation 2 holds the record as the single best-selling video game console ever, having moved over 157 million units worldwide. The PlayStation 2 was so popular that one man in Britain had his name legally changed to PlayStation 2. The 29-year-old man, formerly known as Dan Holmes, had such a strong attachment to his PlayStation 2 that he even tried to marry the console. The man said to the BBC, "I joked about marrying a PlayStation and asked a few vicars if they would do the service. They didn't seem too keen." That's all for today, but don't forget to subscribe to Did You Know Gaming and follow Did You Know Gaming on Facebook and Twitter. Make sure you also check out didyouknowgaming.com, and if you like this video, check out our other videos. And if for some reason you want to hear more of my stupid, hideous voice, then you can have a look at some videos that I have made on my channel. And you know what, I know Halloween is over, but you know, if you're still feeling up for a spook, maybe you want to have a look at my Halloween special. It's about Resident Evil 0. I review the game with a friend, so it's past Halloween, but you can do what you want.